Hello FPL managers, yes, we're back again with another video for the Fantasy Premier League 2022-23 season. In this video, we're going to be considering the best differential 11, and that's players who are owned by less than 10% of FPL managers currently. A lot of FPL managers are going templates, and if you intend to have an edge over them by picking players, differential players who are likely to score really high as against template players who may not start the season off well, then you might want to stick around and take a look at one or two of these picks. If that sounds interesting to you, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe. We're trying to hit 400 subscribers as quickly as possible before the season starts. We're almost there, so help a brother out. Click that red button and let's get straight into business. So for our differential 11, we've selected this squad. We have Guaita and Meslier in goal. We've got Gabriel, Patterson, Williams, Darlow, and Johnny in defense. We've got Madison, Sterling, Fernandez, Andreas, and Bowen in midfield. And our forward line is going to be Vardy, Ronaldo, and Wilson. So we're going to take a look at each of these players and the reasons we've selected them above every other player. For starters, they're owned by less than 10%, but we're going to find out exactly how many managers own them, considering how well they could do for the coming season. So for our starting 11, we've gone with Meslier in goal and dropped Guaita to the bench simply because Guaita has really difficult fixtures to start the season with. Meslier has Wolves at home in game week 1, for instance, and Guaita has Arsenal at home. Meslier makes quite a lot of saves, even though he didn't have a lot of clean sheets last season. He had 5 clean sheets last season, but saved 65.6% of all the shots he faced. Guaita is a tad better than Meslier. He's owned by 1.8% of FPL managers. He had 11 clean sheets last season and saves 73.5% of all his shots last season. So he's the better goalkeeper, but I'm just going with Meslier because of the fixture. So if you can compare both fixtures of the goalkeepers, you'd see that Guaita starts with really difficult fixtures, but by game week 5 it kind of eases up a bit. So if you have Guaita in your team, you might want to start picking him from game week 5 and then go with a goalkeeper with much easier fixtures before then. Okay, so in defense we have Gabriel, who's owned by 8.5% of FPL managers. He scores quite some goals, had 5 goals last season and 13 clean sheets, so that's quite good. He already had 3 clean sheets in 6 preseason games, so that bodes quite well for the Arsenal defense. So Gabriel goes into our team, only owned by 8.5% of managers at the moment. We have Darlow, owned by 4.9%. He's a Manchester United defender. So if you feel like Manchester United might be doing better this season with the new manager, the new system, Darlow at 4.5, it's a very, very good pick. Our third goalkeeper is going to be Johnny. He has very, very good fixtures to start the season with. For instance, in game week 1, he faces Leeds away, and Johnny is already doing quite well in preseason. I'm hoping that he's back to full fitness. Already has an assist in preseason, so he's a good pick, owned only by 1.2% of FPL managers. In his limited time on the pitch last season, he scored 2 goals and had 2 clean sheets. So the Wolves defender is a very, very good differential pick if you are considering him in your team. As for our midfield, we went with Fernandez, Sterling, Madison, and Bowen. Madison is owned by 5.6% of managers. He's playing Brentford at home in his first game. He scored 23 goals and assists last season, and he's predicted to score 19 points between game week 1 and 5 of this season. He already has 1 goal and 3 assists in preseason, so he's a very, very good differential pick. We've got Sterling, who's owned by 6.9% of FPL managers, playing Everton away. He scored 20 goals and assists, playing for City last season. So he's moved to Chelsea. He's gonna see a lot more minutes, and he might might be a very good pick. Rather than going for someone like Son, you might go for Sterling if you predict that he's going to do almost as well, if not better, than Son this season, even though I doubt it. But he's a very good pick if you're going for a differential at £10 million, owned by just 6.9% of managers. If he starts the season very well, you could just get him into your teams. Bowen is another very good pick. He's owned by 8.2% of managers, scored very high last season with 29 goals and assists. A lot of managers are avoiding him for a couple of reasons. For one, he's 0.5 million higher than the other £8 million midfielders like Saka and Kulusevski, you know, and Mount. But he's also facing Manchester City in his game week 1, so a lot of managers are put off by that. But if you are brave enough, you could go for him because he faced Manchester City last season, and that didn't stop him from scoring and creating goals. Okay, so our third midfielder is Fernandes, who's owned by 3.5% of managers. He's facing Brighton at home. He scored 17 goals and assists last season. A lot of managers are put off by his price at £10 million, but he's predicted to score 19.8 points between game week 1 and 5. So if you want a differential in the top 16, Fernandes is another one you can go for if you don't want to go for Sterling. Our starting 11 is closed out with a triple up in forwards of Ronaldo, Wilson and Vardy. Ronaldo is owned by 4.2% of managers currently. He's facing Brighton at home in game week 1. He scored 21 goals and assists last season, and he's predicted to score 22.2 points between game week 1 and 5. A lot of managers put off by him because he may not be at Manchester United by game week 1, but with the look of things, he isn't going anywhere, and I feel like if he's not going to be transferring out of Manchester United, then he's definitely going to be starting game week 1. So you may want to have him in your team if you're brave enough. He isn't cheap. He comes in at 10.5 million, so he's someone that you may want to consider. You may want to have someone, a really popular forward like Jesus or Haaland, and pair him up with someone like Ronaldo just in case he doesn't start off with a bang. Okay, but I believe that he will. Ronaldo tends to score a lot of goals, especially when he's under pressure. We have Wilson, who's owned by 3% of FPL managers. He's facing Nottingham Forest in game week 1 at home. He scored 8 goals last season and is predicted to score 5.3 points in game week 1. It's quite high when you consider the other forwards in that price bracket. So Wilson is another very good pick. He's a differential forward. Like I said, you could pair him up with a very popular forward like Jesus or Haaland or Kane, and then you could protect yourself just in case Wilson doesn't start off very well. Vardy is another very good pick. He's owned by 4.8% of managers, facing Brentford at home in game week 1. He scored 18 goals and assists last season and is predicted to score 19.8 points between game week 1 and 5. And not a lot of managers are picking Vardy simply because of his price point. He costs 9.5 million. So if you're brave enough, well, for that money, and you predict that he's going to do very well, especially against Brentford, start the season off, then you could have Vardy in your team and have an edge over a lot of managers who are going templates. So that's the team, that's the 11, the differential 11, the best we could come up with. And I hope this was helpful to someone there. If so, please like this video and subscribe, help our brother out. We're trying to hit 400 subscribers. We're almost there. So click that red button, and if that'll be all, I'll say cheers. Good luck, have fun, and I'll catch you guys on the next one, which will be our final draft for game week 1, and that will be dropping tomorrow, so look out for that. Salute, catch you guys next.